In a quiet corner of England, a boy was growing up who seemed ordinary at first glance, yet inside his mind was a universe unlike any other. This is the story of Daniel Tammet, a man whose brain holds secrets that challenge our very understanding of intelligence, memory, and human potential. Narrator. From a young age, Daniel's world was different. As a child, he suffered severe epileptic seizures. His parents watched helplessly as doctors struggled to control them. Many wondered if the fits would leave him permanently impaired. But instead of damage, something remarkable seemed to unfold. Childhood. Daniel's childhood was far from easy. He was often isolated, shy, and overwhelmed by the simplest of social interactions. At school, he rarely joined in playground games. He preferred to be alone, lost in thought, staring at patterns in the clouds or the shapes of raindrops sliding down glass. Family voice natural integration. Daniel never seemed quite like the other children. He was gentle, but there was something different. It was as if he was living in another world, one we couldn't enter. Narrator. That other world revealed itself most clearly in his relationship with numbers. While most children struggled to memorize their times tables, Daniel could see numbers in ways no one else could. For Daniel, numbers weren't symbols on a page. They were shapes, colors, textures, living entities that spoke to him in a private language. Daniel quote, "When I think of numbers, I don't just see them, I feel them. To me, every number has its own shape, its own personality. Some are beautiful, some are ugly, some are smooth, others are jagged. When I do calculations, I'm not crunching digits, I'm moving through landscapes." Narrator. This condition is called synaesthesia, a rare blending of the senses. For Daniel, it means that every number from 1 to 10,000 has a unique shape and texture. Calculations that might take others minutes he can complete in seconds, simply by navigating his inner world of patterns. Yet, as extraordinary as it sounds, Daniel's gift came with difficulties. Social situations remained daunting. He struggled with small talk, eye contact, and friendships. Even as his talent with numbers blossomed, the gap between him and the rest of the world grew wider. Narrator rising tone. But soon, what set Daniel apart would no longer isolate him. It would astonish scientists, mathematicians, and linguists across the globe. This is where his extraordinary journey truly begins.
By the time Daniel reached adulthood, his unusual mind could no longer remain hidden. What once isolated him was now drawing attention from scientists and journalists. People wanted to know, was Daniel Tammet simply gifted, or was he something altogether unique? Narrator. The first sign of just how powerful his abilities were came with memory. While most of us struggle to recall a string of numbers beyond a few digits, Daniel's recall was almost limitless. In 2004, he undertook a challenge that would stun the world, to recite the mathematical constant pi, not to 20 digits, or even 100, but to 22,514 digits. For over 5 hours, in front of an audience and official record keepers, Daniel spoke number after number without a single mistake. No calculation, no reference. Only the vivid landscapes of shapes and colors unfolding in his mind. Daniel, quote, "When I recite pi, it's not about memory in the normal sense. Each number leads to the next. It's like walking through a path I already know. I just follow where the numbers take me." Narrator. Daniel's astonishing feat wasn't just a spectacle. For neuroscientists, it offered a rare opportunity, a living, breathing case study into the mystery of savant syndrome, a condition in which individuals with autism or neurological differences display extraordinary talents. But numbers were not Daniel's only gift. His brain seemed wired for language as well. Narrator. With intrigue. To test him, producers devised a challenge unlike any other. Could Daniel learn an entirely new language? One he had never encountered before, in just a single week. The language was Icelandic, with its complex grammar, unusual sounds, and reputation as one of the most difficult languages in the world. It was the ultimate test. Scene: Iceland Challenge. And Daniel met his teachers. At first, the task seemed impossible. Icelandic words could stretch for over a dozen letters. Even native speakers struggled with its cases and conjugations. Language tutor voice, integrated. Most foreigners need years to become comfortable with Icelandic. For Daniel to try in 7 days, well, we thought it was unrealistic. Narrator. But Daniel approached language as he did numbers. Through patterns, shapes, and connections invisible to others. Each word became an image, each sound a texture. Day after day, he immersed himself completely. By the end of the week, he sat down for a live television interview, conducted entirely in Icelandic. Icelandic interviewer translated, quote, "He spoke fluently, with confidence. Not perfect, of course, but far beyond what anyone thought possible in such a short time." Narrator. The test confirmed what scientists suspected. Daniel's brain wasn't simply gifted in one domain. It was cross-wired in a way that made him a natural pattern seeker, able to absorb numbers, words, and concepts with breathtaking speed. Narrator. Building tension toward Act 3. But what, exactly, was happening inside his head? Could science unlock the secret of Daniel's mind? The answers would take researchers deep into the mysteries of autism, memory, and the very nature of human intelligence.
Daniel Tamit's feats had amazed the public, but for scientists, they raised deeper questions. How could one man's brain hold such vast memory, such intuitive mathematical skill, such an uncanny gift for language? And what did his mind reveal about the rest of us? Narrator. Researchers invited Daniel to undergo a series of scientific tests. Brain scans, cognitive assessments, and neurological studies were carried out, all designed to probe the mechanics of his extraordinary abilities. What they found was a brain that processed information differently. Unlike most of us, Daniel didn't approach numbers or words sequentially. His brain formed instant patterns, connecting shapes, colors, and textures into a web of associations that made learning effortless. Scientist voice, integrated. Daniel doesn't memorize in the conventional sense. He sees. His memory is associative, almost three-dimensional. He's navigating a mental landscape the rest of us simply can't access. Narrator. But there was another dimension to Daniel's story. His gifts were inseparable from his autism. From early struggles with social interaction to his unique way of experiencing the world, Daniel's identity was shaped by a condition that often isolates those who live with it. Yet in Daniel's case, autism also granted him a perspective that enriched his life and ours. Daniel, quote, "People sometimes see autism as a limitation, but for me, it's part of who I am. It's the reason I see numbers the way I do, the reason I experience the world differently. It doesn't make me less, just different." Narrator. Daniel's journey challenges the very notion of normal intelligence. In a world that often prizes speed, conformity, and conventional learning, he reminds us that the human mind is far more varied and mysterious than we imagine. Closing reflections today. Daniel lives as a writer, poet, and teacher. He continues to explore not only the patterns of numbers and languages, but also the patterns of human thought and emotion. Through his story, we glimpse the astonishing potential of the brain, its ability to adapt, to create, to transcend limits. Narrator final lines. Cinematic, in Daniel Tamit's mind. Numbers bloom into colors, words unfold into landscapes, and memory stretches far beyond what we thought possible. His life is proof that hidden within the human brain are abilities still waiting to be understood. Abilities that may redefine what it means to be intelligent, creative, and profoundly human.